Hi everybody, it's Alex Newton from K-Lytics, today with our Kindle market trends for January 2022, so let's have a look. Let's kick off with the overall market news, and there we see a phenomenal finish for the year 2021. The projected annual growth for the year stands at 19%, and I can only say wow. Tell me one industry that has such growth numbers in the current global and economic environment. This is the number for the Kindle Select Global Fund, which represents all the royalties being paid to Amazon Kindle authors who've chosen to go exclusive with Amazon under the Kindle Unlimited scheme, the KDP Select scheme. It serves as an indicator for the overall Amazon market for ebooks in particular. It is one of the only official numbers published, and that pot of royalties is going to come out at $450 million for 2021. Let's look at trends and developments across the category bestseller lists. The biggest share of the sales have been captured by the big categories of romance, mystery, thriller, suspense, science fiction, and fantasy on an individual genre level. Then literature and fiction is the big umbrella genre, has outsold non-fiction by quite a margin. And then we have the smaller categories, starting from teen, young, adult, all the way down here to a whole bunch of non-fiction categories. There is no need to take notes. You can download for free the overall category report at klytics.com/free report. And if you're already a member, you'll find it here in the basic tab. Romance has continued its stellar performance during the pandemic, currently trending at a highest ever plateau that was achieved here during the months of 2021. And that combined with, over the last years, a tremendous increase in prices from a low point back in 2017 with the average price across the top 100 at $2.50 all the way up to this newest highest ever price achieved at $4.90 in the month of December 2021. One of the biggest winning genres in romance is romantic fantasy. If we look at the bestseller ranks here over the last 5 years, you see that during the months of the pandemic, towards the right of the graph, this bestseller list has clearly been one of the big beneficiaries. Probably one of the most notable drivers of the development were the Zodiac Academy books by Caroline Peckham. Also continued success here of the Court of Thorns and Roses series, the Plated Prisoners series by Raven Kennedy. We have Shannon Meyer with the Court of Honey and Ash, and a whole number of other titles. This is obviously a fairly broadly defined category. Fae romance was a big thing also in 2021. Definitely a bestseller list worth checking out. Of course, it is a big market, high selling, but also competitive. If you plot the genre here in yellow on our K-Lytics strategy map that plots all the 8,000 categories, the higher the dot is on the map, the better the average Amazon sales rank, meaning high sales. The further the dot is to the right, the higher the level of competition as measured by the number of titles in the category. And yes, we have in romance fantasy a very high sales rank, but also more than 60,000 English-speaking titles in the category. Thus, high reward, but also high competition, meaning you will have to bring a bit of advertising money into the game. The biggest revival of the year 2021 was probably paranormal romance, specifically here with werewolves and shifters, where we see the pandemic brought a new life to a category and its characters, vampires and shifters and so on. I know they never die anyway, but we have here new life injected at least into the sales ranks, into a genre that has otherwise been on a 3 to 4 year decline. Also, mystery thriller suspense continues with a good, very solid performance. We saw a peak in September 2021, and across the whole year, a good upward trend. Also, prices have been stable, a bit more volatile, but a sideways movement here between the low point was a $5 price point, and now we're up at $6.50. The biggest winner and comeback of the year in the genre was political thrillers, with interest after the last elections probably dropping here into nowhere's land all the way down at sales rank 2000. By the end of 2020, we then saw this big surge back up to where we are now in December, January here 2022, with political thrillers here climbing back up and pushing this bestseller list here. Of course, you have overlap with legal thrillers, with vigilante justice, but you clearly get the idea here also from the covers about the type of books that are popular in this genre. And political thrillers as a category is interesting because you see here the sales rank is as high as 603 on average, and the category size is still below 10,000, so it falls into our area of the hot niche markets. Green is good, orange is not so good. And especially here in the upper middle ground, you have only between 2,000 and 10,000 titles in the category. Then another big uptrending genre of the year was science fiction and fantasy. The sales rank performance has been stellar, climbing from all the way down here in mid-2020, around 450, all the way up to, say, a mark of 300. And that increase in sales did not come at the expense of lowered prices. In fact, the prices in science fiction and fantasy are as strong as they've never been before. But within the genre, we had many differences in individual genre performance, and the most notable example is this one. Just have a look here at the last 5 years, where, for example, during the pandemic here, the dire dystopian literature has taken a dive, while the escapist fantasy, epic fantasy literature has clearly climbed up and reached its all-time high, of course helped by pertinent series on Netflix and especially Amazon's big investment into The Wheel of Time. And due to this big rising trend, our first genre seminar of the year in K-Lytics will be the Epic Fantasy Seminar Edition 2022. By the time you watch this, the new edition may already been out. If not, just check back in 1 or 2 days. Teen Young Adult has been pretty volatile over the year. Now, towards the year end 2021, we've seen this upswing here towards Christmas. If you're interested in the more individual trends, check out the custom research tab of the members website. And here you see we just recently covered Teen Young Adult, so you can have a look there for the more individual trends. If you're not a K-Lytics member yet, check out our offers at klytics.com if you want to have access to the big genre database or the individual genre reports. I wish you a great year ahead. I look forward to providing all the market intel you need with my team so you can make better and faster publishing decisions and focus on the writing where your love, passion, and knowledge for specific genres meet a viable market. That's where the magic happens. And I look forward to working with you on that this year. So much for today. This is Alex Newton from K-Lytics, ebook market intelligence for success.